Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tat Nation podcast. My name is Connor Phelan. I'm joined today by James Kashork and Kyle Nash, both joining me today from the Tat office here in Spokane. Thanks again for tuning in. I want to start out with James. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Let them know what you do.
Thanks, Connor. So my name is James Kashork. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Washington. Been with the top agent team for a little over 2 years, and as of August 10th, I'm joining the new top lending team, which is a new TLT. That's exactly right. Which is the new mortgage lending business that we've started here, and so we're just in the process of getting that cranked up.
Awesome. We're excited for you to get started. It's going to help our clients out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about some of the benefits of having, an in-house lending team with us.
Yeah, you bet. So the number one thing is always customer service. A lot of times if you're dealing with a bank or you're dealing with, one of these big online lenders, trying to figure out who to call if you have a problem, if something's delayed, if you have questions, that can be a little difficult sometimes. So the number one thing is, we have a relationship, although we work with anybody, we have a relationship with all of the real estate folks on the team here. And so if they have a question or, hey, what's going on with the application or the pre-approval or the appraisal or whatever it might be, they pick up the phone, walk down the hall, give us a call. We, work with the lenders, processors, get it all straightened out.
I know where you live, so I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Some of them do, although I try to keep that a closely guarded secret.
Yeah.
So if someone has a question about getting a loan or refinancing, how do they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is to give us a call. You visit the toplendingteam.com is our website, and our phone number is there, and I imagine we'll put it in the comments. But give us a call. That rings directly to my phone or to Brittany's phone, who is our other person that's on the top lending team, and be happy to talk specifics with them about whatever questions they might have about mortgages or refinancing, which is a huge deal these days with interest rates pretty low.
Mm-hmm. And how is that process right now? Is it pretty easy process compared to pre what we're going through right now? Can't say the words.
As far as like the actual lending process and underwriting and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
We've been in this long enough where most lenders and brokers sort of have been able to figure out a way to work around the hassle of the current pandemic and all that stuff that's going on. So it's pretty straightforward. There's not any major issues. Typically where we run into problems if somebody's been furloughed because their business is shut down and so they've not been working and they've had an interruption in their income or something. We can work through that, but that's typically the biggest thing that we've seen.
And how long does a application process normally take?
So we can do a pre-approval in a matter of an hour or two, but a lot of it depends on how quickly folks will get us their documents, because we need W-2s, bank statements, tax returns, that sort of stuff. So if that's delayed, there's not much we can do about that. Mm-hmm. But folks get those to us, we can get an application filled out pretty quick.
So if someone came in with all their paperwork, sat down with you, and you guys just knocked it out right there.
Yeah.
How long does it normally take after that?
In terms of getting an approval to go shopping?
Yeah.
We can be done in an hour.
Wow. That's quick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot of times, at least in my experience, what I've seen is generally it's always the holdup of not having the documents ready or getting pay stubs, or sometimes it can be a little bit difficult if they're commission sales or something like that. So it really depends, and that's a big thing that we're proponents here at Top Agent Team is we want to meet with clients and really go over the whole process for them from the very beginning. And so having an in-house lender that can sit in on those conversations with us, it kind of helps to kill two birds with one stone there, right? Yep. The biggest part is, people want to go look at houses, but then it comes across as not necessarily as defensive when we're saying, well, we also need you to get pre-approved, because that's a big step. If you're not pre-approved right now and you want to make an offer on the house, you can pretty much consider your offer negated and they're not going to even look at it.
Right.
So I would say right now, with Top Agent Team, again, we train our agents that this is a huge step in the buying process, is meeting with a client. Because honestly, we want to make sure that we're all going to be a good fit working for each other too, because at a certain point, I'd rather, shake hands and part ways as friends with you now, as opposed to 6 months down the road, you decide that you're not happy with me for one reason or the other, or I'm not happy with you. And sometimes that happens.
Yep.
I think we're all excited here at Top Agent Team, team up with TLT TAT and TLT. That'll be fun. But yeah, I think one thing just to consider is, when you're working with the top agent team, now we've got 2 different teams that we're working with, and we're going to be growing and building both partnerships alongside each other. So just something to consider when you're considering buying. So.
Yep. Awesome. One thing I would add is, just because we've started the top lending team and we're it's a pretty new venture, doesn't mean we don't have any experience. We've partnered with some folks in the mortgage industry who've got a lot of experience, who are helping us, put all the details together and making sure that, we're taking care of customers and getting stuff done right. So, don't be put off by the fact that it's a new venture.
Right.
It's backed by a lot of experience. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one big thing to think about too is, James, you've been in real estate for 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have a lot of background in real estate. You know that side of it. So I think, I guess I'll ask you, how is that going to help you with being a lender?
Well, I mean, the first thing is it's really easy to communicate with the real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's been on the lending side but they've never been on the real estate side specifically, those are 2 sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
And so, one's looking out for the lending process, which is a good bit different than the purchase and sale process. And so, knowing both sides of the coin, pretty well, I think it enables me to have a pretty good relationship with the agents, understand the pressures that they're going through, help them understand where we're at the end of the day. We're just trying to get everything done that we can to help the clients succeed and help them accomplish their goals. For sure.
And I think one other thing to consider too is now we're also going to have an in-house person that's going to be able to sort of educate us alongside that process. So agents here are going to know just enough to be dangerous on the lending side. And they're going to know, like, okay, this is the whole process, and they're going to know it quite a bit more in depth than maybe somebody who doesn't have a partnered lender, or maybe they're fresh into the business and don't really know the loan aspect of it. So, I think that's going to be huge for us too. Is, I'm a big education guy. I love learning all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And I think that'll be huge for our team to kind of grow forward and know a lot of that stuff too. So
absolutely, you bet.
Awesome.
And just because folks don't have to work with a top agent team realtor, although I don't know why they wouldn't want to, but
come on,
just
we're the best.
Laying it out there. I mean, we're
the top.
Team is where it's at because we're good at what we do. But if somebody doesn't need to buy a house but wants to refinance their mortgage or talk with somebody about that, just connect with us on the website and or the phone or text or whatever, and we can help with that as well. So
is it a good time to do that right now? Refinance?
It is. It's crazy good. Interest rates are historically low, and if you're going to save a couple points on your loan or something, and you're going to be in it for a little while, it may be good to have a conversation with us and say, hey, does this make some sense? And or maybe take some cash out and pay some bills or do some work on your house or whatever the case might be.
Yeah, a friend of mine was just telling me they refinanced, and I don't know how much they took out, but they took out some money, and it's like I'm still making the same payment as I was.
Right. It's crazy. It's just a sign of how much property values have increased in Spokane. That you've got that much equity and still making the same payment.
Yeah. So what is the rates being at historical lows due to all of that?
Well, first of all, it makes buying more affordable. If you want to buy a bigger house or a more expensive house, you likely can do that because the cost of your money is so much lower. Even than it was 6 months or a year ago. If you've got equity in it and your rates are low and you want to take some money out, like I said, to pay some bills or pay off your car loan or student debt or whatever, then it could be a good time to do that. And it's at the end of the day, I always think if you don't ask, the answer is no. So give us a call. Let's have a conversation. See what works in your particular situation, and if we can help you out, and if it makes some sense for you to do it, then great. And if not, then hey, it was good to talk with you, and we're on our way.
Glad we tried.
Yeah, absolutely. Worth a shot to have a conversation anyway.
So I gotta 100% put you on the spot. I know, right? So I bought about almost 5 years ago now. Rate was about, I think, 3.625. So that was a pretty good rate back then. I know my credit has probably fluctuated a little bit. Do you think it'd be worth somebody like me to actually go and do that if my rate was that back then?
Based on what I know right at the moment, I would say it would be worth a conversation.
Okay.
Unless you plan on selling your house next year,
right.
I would say give us a call and let's talk about it and see if it makes some sense.
Cool. So yeah, 3.625. That was my rate, FHA back then. So again, my plan is I could refinance into conventional. I've got enough paid off by now that I might be able to move into something different, and also built up enough equity. So something to kind of think about is, when I bought my house at $190,000, 5 years ago, that it could be worth $260 now. So that equity, that gap now might be that 20% where I could actually drop off my mortgage insurance and convert to a conventional loan.
Yep.
So there's a lot of options there. And again, that's kind of what Connor was talking about, is you drop that off and your payments are going to be the same as what you were already. And now your house is worth more and you've got some equity built up in it. So
the other thing to think about it, it may make some sense to go from a 30-year note to a 15-year note, and maybe your payments go up a little bit, but you're paying your house off faster. So, every situation is so unique. It really is worth just a 15, 20-minute phone call to say, hey, does this make some sense?
Yeah. Awesome.
100%.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool how, I've been seeing you and Brittany go into the meetings with people that never really, happened before. It did on occasion, but I mean, how nice is that for someone to get to come in, meet with the realtor and the lender at the same time?
Yep.
That's just instead of breaking it into two conversations, you're just knocking two birds with one stone.
Yeah,
it's like going to the doctor and the dentist at the same time.
That's a good analogy. Right there.
I don't know if that's a good analogy.
Oh, you got them next door. How about that? How about something like that? Awesome. Let's talk about some of the market numbers real quick. So this week, not a huge change in active listings. Only went up about a net of 4. So not a huge change there. However, we did see a pretty decent change in the pendings and closed. Dropped about 1.5% on all of those. So again, that's just saying it looks like we had quite a few new listings last week, and then some more deals went pending. So anything that was kind of being held off from going pending last week went pending all of a sudden, and now there's just less stuff on the market. I mean, it's kind of the motto for the last 2 years is supply and demand. Supply is low, demand is high, prices are going up. So yeah, it's again, it's a crazy time. If you're a seller right now, and you're planning on maybe leaving the state, we were just doing a little talk about this with our team, talking about sort of categories that we're thinking. If you're looking to either maybe a snowbird or you want to go buy something for 6 months out of the year, that this might be a great opportunity for you to take a good chunk of change out of what you already have in the market. So again, something to just consider. So if you are looking to sell, reach out to one of us. We'll help you, top agent team, and get it listed for you and get it sold. So yeah, that's all I got though.
Right on. We got another giveaway coming September, so stay tuned for that. We will get you guys more information on that once the opportunity arises. So, James, thanks for being on the podcast today.
Yeah, my pleasure. Glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity to talk about top lending team.
For sure.
TLT.
And we'll leave James's information in the description or comments section so you guys can get a hold of him and ask him any questions. And that's all I got.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.